Good evening, everybody, and of course, happy Victory Monday. That's right, we haven't got to do a lot of these, just the second one this year, the old Victory Mondays. Mondays are always tough, but when you win a football game, no matter how ugly it may be, it feels good. If we could just play Washington every week, we'd be a damn good football team. We might actually win something because for whatever reason, we just beat the shit out of Washington. We own them. Beat them 106, 107 times over the course of the NFL, over the course of NFL history. No team has beaten a team more than the Giants beating Washington. And it never really matters how good or bad we are, how good or bad they are. We always beat them. Always. Doesn't even matter who the hell the quarterback is. We just beat them all the time for whatever reason. Now, I know my guy Louis T. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun on Wednesday with the Super Friends. There's no question. Now, I'm not really going to be able to talk a lot of shit. My team is 2-5. We suck. But Louis can't. Louis can't say nothing now. Louis going to have to be quiet. But LB will, be able to get into him a little bit. But it does feel good to know that when I do that, Super Friends, that he can't come at me because they can't beat us. And all week on Twitter, I said we were going to win that game, and I felt like we were going to win the game. I felt like we should have beat Buffalo. I mean, we were there. We had them. We just kind of couldn't do it for whatever reason. Bad audible by Tyrod, pass interference not called at the end of the game. For whatever reason, now you make an excuse because we didn't get it done. We didn't get the ball in the end zone, end up losing. Should have been able to win that game though, and if we would have won that game, you're 3-4 going against the Jets. And listen, man, the Jets are a tough team. They're not easy. It's a little bit easier without Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback. But if you've been watching the Jets, they fight. I mean, they got a really, really good defense. Zach Wilson's been okay. I mean, he hasn't been phenomenal. He's not Aaron Rodgers, but Garrett Wilson's a really good wide receiver. So I was joking around today with the guys from the Super Friends and said, I said, I'm just checking on Louis' health. And Louis said, we check on yours. You guys might score 0. You guys might not score next week. I said the Jets might not score either. It'd be perfect if the Jets and Giants tied at 0-0. That'd actually be pretty funny if that was the case. But it isn't. But that should be a very interesting game. The Giants, though, they did take care of business against Washington. We tried to give them that game a few times. The muff punt by Eric Gray, first quarter, we were able to get on top of it. Come out in the third quarter, 3-and-out for Washington again. That's what we did to them all day. They were 1-15 on third downs. So we kicked their ass. We had 5 sacks as a team going into that game. We had 6 yesterday. Sterling Shepard fumbles, gives them a short field, they score. This defense is playing really, really, really well right now, and I love to see it. As a defensive guy, as a guy that's watched Giants for 40 years, we are predicated on running the ball in defense. That is what this team is known for. Defense struggled at the beginning of the year. They had a rough game against Miami. Everybody has a rough game against Miami, although Philadelphia took care of them pretty good last night. Now, I know that they were beat up, but I'm not using that as an excuse. Philly played a good game, and they beat a good team, in my opinion. But Miami's a really good offense, so we were going to struggle there. But we still turned Miami over 3 times. In the last 3 games, we're winning the turnover battle 6-0. So the defense has been great. They've been getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Like I said, 6 sacks yesterday. Deontay Banks is fantastic. Terry McLaurin had a good fourth quarter when they were just chucking the ball up all day. But through 3 quarters, Deontay Banks shut McLaurin down, even intercepted a pass. So it was a good thing. Kayvon Thibodeau's got 5.5 sacks. So, he's on pace for, about 14 sacks this year. People still want to call him a bust. I don't understand why they want to call him a bust. It doesn't make sense to me. You're not going to get sacks every time. He does other things well. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. There is no question about that. It was nice to see Leo have a good game. Leo's kind of been MIA all year, so it was nice to see him get some pressure. It was nice to see him block a field goal. Secondary's played well. Like I said, I love Deonte Banks. I think he's great. I really like the fact that they're playing Jalen Hyatt more. We have seen this deep threat. I don't know why they held him out of the lineup the first few games of the season. I kept wanting this kid to get snaps. He stretches the field. That's something that we have to do. You stretch the field, you loosen up the defense. It opens it up for Darren Waller. Darren Waller had the best game he's had since he was a Giant. 7 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown. It opens it up for Saquon Barkley. The defense has to play you honest. They can't play in a 10-yard box, crowd the line of scrimmage, and make those really, those easy throws, tight throws, because they have to back off a little bit. When you have to play off the receiver because you're afraid of him getting behind you, that does a lot. So the Giants the last couple of games just seem more balanced on offense. People can attribute this to the offensive line. Offensive line didn't play good. Like, I don't know where this whole thing is coming out. Oh, the offensive line's great. There's still no Andrew Thomas. There was no Evan Neal. There was no JMS. 3 of their starters were out. We have McKeithen in there. We got Pugh out of position. Listen, Justin Pugh. I love Justin Pugh. The guy literally comes off the couch. They throw him into the freaking fire at left tackle, and he got eaten by Chase Young. I mean, that happens. Chase Young's going to get a big paycheck because he is playing his ass off. But all in all, man, the Giants the last couple of games, I felt they've played well. They have to finish these drives or touchdowns. Can't fumble at the 7 when you're Saquon Barkley. You can't audible to a run when you're Tyrod Taylor. Not at the end of the half. At the end of the game, you could have done it because you had 1 on time down. You could have ran there. If you want to give the ball to your best player, which is Saquon Barkley, it makes sense to do it there. Okay, not at the end of the first half. But they got to get the ball in the end zone. Missed a field goal. Gano hurt his calf week 1. I don't know if he's really ever been right since. It's not like him to miss field goals, but it was very windy in the Meadowlands, and anybody that's been there knows this time of year those swirling winds can wreak havoc with the football. So, but Giants win a game. It's nice to win. I like seeing the defense kick ass. I'm excited for the defense. I love seeing it. I love seeing Bobby Okereke, finally finding his rhythm in this Wink Martindale defense. I think he's played great. Micah McFadden had the highest PFF grade of any linebacker in the league in week 7. What a steal that's looking like in the 5th round out of Indiana. Kid is a beast. I love it. I love seeing McFadden and Okereke do their thing. I love seeing Kayvon Thibodeau come off the edge, get 1.5 sacks. And Christian McCaffrey just scored, unless they're calling that back. Nope, they're not calling it back. He just scored. So I love seeing this happen. I think this defense is really becoming really good. And I feel like the defense will have a really good game against the Jets as well. The Jets are not a offensive powerhouse whatsoever. You look at the next 2 games for the Giants, the Jets are going to be tough because the Jets play tough. The Jets have a really good defense. Our offensive line still isn't good. Let's not fool ourselves. And no matter who the quarterback is on Sunday, they're going to be under a lot of duress. The Jets put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. That's a good team. And they got one of the best corners in the league in Sauce Gardner. So it ain't going to be easy. Nothing the Giants do is easy anyway, but it's going to be a little bit less. The defense should have a good game against Zach Wilson. That's not Aaron Rodgers. I'd be more concerned if it was Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson. And then they go against, the Raiders. No Jimmy Garoppolo. You saw what happened to them against the Bears. They got destroyed. So those are winnable games. I mean, the Giants could really be looking at 4-5 here going against Dallas. And I don't expect them to beat Dallas. We're not there. We won't lose 40-0 this time. I almost bet my house on that. They ain't losing 40-0, but Dallas is better than we are. I think that was obvious week 1. But there's other games in the schedule. And again, listen, the Giants could lose all these games too. They're the Giants. But you look, the Jets is winnable. The Raiders are winnable. The Packers is winnable. The Saints is winnable. Washington obviously is winnable because we just beat them. That's what we do. Eagles Probably not. Probably ain't touching them. We would need a miracle to beat that team. That team is pretty good. Um, but like I said, man, I'm happy about the defense. I just like seeing good defensive football. And anytime you got a good defense, no matter how poor your offense is, they keep you in the game. You're literally one or two plays away from winning. I thought the Giants yesterday got away from the run in the second half. I didn't like that at all. They had a really good first half, mixing it up, passing and running. It seemed like they got to the second half and they got pass happy. And they've done that a couple times this year with Saquon in the game. And I don't understand. They did it against Dallas when they blocked the field goal and they went up 6-0. Like, it's like, okay, we stopped running. Like, after the first drive, they stopped running the football. And they did the same thing against Seattle. They stopped running. Why? Why you stop running? You need to establish that run. You need to give the ball to your best player, Saquon. So give the ball to Saquon and let him eat. Let him cook. Let him do whatever the hell he's got to do. Because if you can establish a running game, it's going to alleviate a lot of the pass rush. You're going to have more time to throw, especially if guys have to start to come up and try to stop the run. Then it's going to leave one-on-one coverage, and you got guys that can win one-on-one. So you just got to be balanced. You don't want to be in 3rd and 10. You don't want to be in an obvious passing situation because our offensive line can't protect anybody. So I don't know. No, the offensive line just isn't good. And it hasn't been for some time. My hope is when they're healthy and you get Andrew Thomas back at left tackle, which I don't know when he's coming back. And it sucks that Evan Neal got hurt because he had a good game against Buffalo. So you would hope he could build off it. But you hope you found something here with Justin Pugh. You move him back to guard. I put it on Twitter today. I put a lineup. A lot of people were like, you got to put you have to put Pugh in there instead of Glowinski. Glowinski was fantastic yesterday. That's why I put him in there, because he was one of the highest rated PFF guys, linemen yesterday. He was awesome. I think Bredesen was too. But if you want to go, Thomas, Bredesen, JMS, Pugh, Evan Neal, and ride with that and see how that works, it's more formidable to put out there yesterday. Tyree Phillips played really well too. So you have a little depth at that point. I'm the advocate of, hey, if Tyree Phillips can play right tackle and Evan Neal struggles, you might want to think about moving Evan Neal inside. Because the Giants got to do something to fix this offensive line. Because it's never easy when your quarterback's running for his life. It just isn't. It makes it very difficult on everybody when your line can't protect. It all starts up front, which is why I'm an advocate of, listen, I'm not a guy that wants to give Saquon Barkley $15 million a year. I don't. Because, as I said on Fisk's channel last night, man, I'd rather put the money in front of the running back. I'd rather put the money in front of the guys in the backfield as opposed to put the money in the backfield. You want to protect your quarterback. You want to be able to run the football. Got to do that. Eagles do that well. The best teams in football are the ones that can protect their quarterback, give them time to throw, give them a clean pocket, and run the football. It doesn't matter how old football gets. That'll always be what the old adage is in football. You got to win in the trenches. Doesn't matter how many rule changes there are. No matter how many passes they throw nowadays. Doesn't matter how ridiculously athletic these wide receivers are, because they are. They're amazing. But you still have to be able to run the ball. You still have to be able to protect the quarterback. You got to win the line of scrimmage. That's how you control time of possession. And on defense, you got to win the line of scrimmage too. Run and stop the run. That'll always be the key to winning football games. Because if a team can't run and you make them one-dimensional and you can just pin your ears back and go after the passer, defense is going to have a good day. The Giants did a really good job of stopping Washington's run because Washington ran all over us. And the other thing is, somebody was telling me, Terry McLaurin, they cooked Deontay Banks. He didn't cook Deontay Banks. Terry McLaurin, you didn't even know he was in the game for a half. Terry McLaurin ate Adoree Jackson's lunch all the time. Terry McLaurin killed us on a regular basis. He had a good fourth quarter. And Deontay Banks did a damn good job. That kid can play. And that kid ain't taking any shit. I like it. I like that he's telling Terry McLaurin, no, not today. Not today. We'll see if he gets matched up on Garrett Wilson on Sunday. But Really, really good. Really, really good stuff, man. I was very happy with the defense yesterday. So we'll see. We shall see. Get a couple of these. J Tech, my man. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Got to turn this up so we can. Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you so much. He says, when the O-line is healthy, do you think it'll be better to have Pugh? Right? Yeah, there you go. I mentioned that. Probably Pugh's, if nothing else, Pugh's leadership and experience could really help the young guys. Because again, Andrew Thomas is in his fourth year. John Michael Schmitz is a rookie. Evan Neal's in the second year. We all want our pound of flesh. We all want Bobby Johnson. Right? We all want Bobby Johnson out of here. So Justin Pugh could be that guy on the field that is kind of the leader of the offensive line. He's played in New York. He knows what it is here. He's an upgrade over Azudu, even though he just came off the couch. Azudu's really struggled this year. But again, if you just have that guy that can settle everything down and, work with these young guys and help them out, that's worth the price of the contract he signed anyway. So no matter what his role is going forward when we get healthy, just him being there is going to mean a lot to the younger guys. Mike, my man, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Just in case Big Moo's in here, we're going to do this. He says, Kayvon having a decent second year. He has more sacks than Hutchinson. Does he? I know he has more sacks than Bosa. He has more sacks than Parsons. He has more sacks than Watt. People still want to call the man a bust. I don't get it. I don't get it. Stevens kind of reminds me of, I'm not saying we're winning the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying his defense is as good as the 2007 season. But it's funny how, like, the first couple of games of the 2007 season, the defense looked really lost and it was really bad. And then they started to play better. And they really came on at the end of the year. But, that 2007 Giants team had a great offensive line. And they were able to run the ball. So, that's just something we got to do. We got punched in the mouth. We had a bad schedule. It was unfavorable. Not using that as an excuse. If you want to be a serious contender, you got to beat good teams. You got to win on prime time. We don't, man. We played 4 primetime games. We lost every one of them. Okay. We played all playoff teams pretty much outside of Arizona until we played Washington. Every one of those teams was a playoff team last year. It was a brutal schedule. I just wanted to get out of it 2-4. Like that would have been worst case scenario, which is if we would have beat Buffalo 2-4 is where, a lot of people probably had us. Probably thinking we would beat Seattle at home after a long rest. I thought we were going to beat Dallas week 1. I was hyped up. They really let me down. But it is what it is. Independent outsider, my man. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. He says Tyrod's pocket presence matters. Roll with him. They're not going to roll with Tyrod Taylor. Daniel Jones is the quarterback of this team. They gave Daniel Jones $160 million. And I know Coach Dable said, I don't care what you make. I don't care what you make. Guys are competing, but I don't see Daniel Jones being benched. Tyrod Taylor has done a nice job, but he has been dominant. I think the offense looks more balanced. But to be fair, Saquon Barkley's back. I just think Tyrod Taylor is a little bit more decisive with his throws and his decisions. And that's really, really what I think the difference is. And he's not afraid to throw the ball down the field. Why Daniel Jones isn't throwing the ball down the field, I don't know. I don't know if that's by design. I don't know if he's just hesitant to throw it down the field. I don't know. And people don't know either. They're like, oh, these plays are being good. They're calling the plays where Tyrod Taylor. We don't know what the hell plays are being called. Nobody knows what plays are being called except for the quarterback and the team. They know what's being called. We don't know what the play is. We don't know what the play is. It could be, hey, throw the ball deep, and he just takes the check down. It could be, hey, the deep route's your third read, and he doesn't get to it because he's getting his face planted into the turf. Who the hell knows? But you can't sit there and go, oh, the play calling is different for Tyrod than it is. It probably is different, but I can't imagine Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka saying to him, hey, whatever you do, don't throw the ball past 10 yards. Just just throw it 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I can't see that being the the game plan per se. But like I said, get your offensive line healthy. Saquon Barkley's back healthy. Start Jalen Hyatt, please. Start Jalen Hyatt. At least give him, he's been getting about 80% of the snaps the last 2 weeks. Let him keep getting those snaps. I'd really like to see him, Slayton, Wandale in the slot. That's what I'd like to see them start with if they go 11 personnel. That's the way I'd like them to line up at wide receiver. And then you got Shep, you got Hodgins. But I just think giving that speed, Paris Campbell's kind of lost his way. It's like they brought Paris Campbell in here and they had no plan for him. It was just like, hey, let's go out and get this guy. He's cheap. Put him in here for you. And they really didn't have any plan for Paris Campbell. It doesn't look like they ever knew what they were going to do with him. So that has not worked. I don't know if Paris. Now the Giants did sign a punt returner today. I forgot the guy's name, but I was going to say, has Paris Campbell ever returned? He returned kicks. He just never returned punts. So I was going to say, maybe you use him for that. He's very fast. He's shifty. We really just need a guy that can catch their damn football and not fumble it all the time. But 2-5, baby. You can be 3-5. They can be 3-5 all day, every day. So we'll see what happens. Now, if they lose to the Jets and they go to 2-6, it'll be very interesting to see exactly where they go if they start to trade people away. If teams reach out to them, say, hey, we'll give you such and such for Leo. We'll give you such and such for McKinney, Adoree, Saquon. We'll see. Joe Shane may stand pat. He may sell off one person or, sell off one piece or trade one piece away. And may trade off 4 pieces. Who the hell knows? But this game, to me, this is the one. I know some fans are going to be pissed off because they're going to say, well, the Giants can't win anything. So what are you keeping these guys for if they move to 3-5? But that's because the coaching staff ain't going to go, oh, we're 3-5. Let's just give up on the season. We're not even halfway through it. That's not their job. Their job is to win. So if they feel like they can make a run at a postseason, regardless of how bad it started off, that's what they're going to do. If they go to 2-6 and they're like, all right, you know what? We're not going to do it. This is not our year. Let's build for 2024. This is probably the game. It's probably the game that decides which direction they go in. 3-5, you're right there. 2-6, you're not. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm definitely looking forward to the Jets game, and I think it'll be very ugly, just like the one was against Washington. I do not expect high-scoring games. I do not expect to see 2 high-flying offenses in that game. I expect to see a lot of sacks, a lot of pressures. Hopefully we can turn Zach Wilson over a couple times. Tyrod's taking care of the ball pretty well. Zach Wilson's prone to turning it over. Got to get pressure on him early and often and see what happens. Yeah, obviously this is going to be it's going to be a subject anyway. It's pretty much been a subject all year anyway. All year. 5 years running, this has been a topic of discussion. Daniel Jones, the quarterback of the Giants. But now that he got injured again, and it's his neck again, we don't know what the hell the injury is, which I hate that. I wish we knew what some of the injuries were, but we don't know what the injury is. So we'll see how long it takes. Honestly, man, I don't care if I would sit him out one more week. And not because it's like, oh, you got to roll with Tyrod Taylor, because the Jets defense is going to hit the quarterback. The Raiders, outside of Max Crosby, I don't think you have to worry too much about their pass rush. But that Jets team is good. That Jets defense is good. You probably don't want to come off a neck injury, getting knocked around 11 times again. So just, to bear on the side of caution, it might be best for him to sit out. But that'll be the decision the coaching staff makes. If he's cleared to play, he's going to play. I have no doubt about that. If he's ready to go, Brian Dable ain't going to bench him for Tyrod Taylor. I can't see that happening. But that has been a point of contention between Giants fans like I said, for years with Daniel Jones, especially this year. Especially this year. Even last year, when Daniel Jones had the good year, you know, um, LaShawn McCoy came out. Well, the reason I got mad at LaShawn McCoy when he did the video or did the, had his take on Daniel Jones wasn't because he said that Daniel Jones was a garage or anything. It's because right after the season started, ended or whatever, he was all about Daniel Jones. So they got a good coach, had a great year. They need to sign him. They need to do this, they need to do that. And it's like he got paid, and then Shady turned his opinion around and said he's a garage. Tyrod Taylor could do the same thing as Daniel Jones. And a lot of people want Tyrod Taylor to start. Say the offense looks better with Tyrod Taylor. And again, that's just a matter of opinion. Saquon Barkley may have something to do with that. The line may have something to do with that. Tyrod's got something. Again, I've said this. You can't solely blaming Daniel Jones for the offensive struggles of the Giants is ridiculous. But absolving Daniel Jones of any blame because of the offense struggling is also ridiculous. The big point of contention right now between the fans is that the offense looks the same or better or a little worse, but it didn't fall way off. So now the people that want Tyrod Taylor are saying, well, what the hell's the difference? You're paying one guy $40 million. You're paying the other one $7 million or whatever the hell he's getting paid this year. That's a big difference. It shouldn't even be close. Tyrod Taylor is a nice quarterback, and he's a professional quarterback, and he's been a starter in the league. He's got a lot of experience. Probably the best backup in the league. But that's going to be a lot of Giants fans' thing is there's not much of a fall off between the starter and the backup. And like I said, to me, the offenses look more balanced. But we'll see when Daniel Jones gets back. Maybe Daniel Jones figures it out. Maybe the line is better. Maybe having Barkley back gets Daniel Jones what he was last year. But we didn't see that guy. We didn't see Daniel Jones for 18 quarters of the 20 he played. We didn't see the guy from last year. Didn't see him. Didn't see that confident guy. Didn't see that guy just went back and, threw with confidence. Didn't see the guy with the pocket awareness that he developed last year. Don't see the guy that takes care of the ball anymore. Now, granted, I know 3 of his passes should have been caught and they were deflected and intercepted, but he's made some bad throws, bad decisions. There's no question about that. He's not the player he was last year. Not yet. Maybe he figures it out. Maybe a couple weeks off is what he needed. Maybe things are starting to gel for the Giants a little bit offensively. I don't know. We'll know when he's healthy. But that is always going to be a thing. It's going to be there's the people that don't want to win. They want to draft a quarterback. And of course, if the Giants suck, the Giants are picking top 3, top 5, they're going to take a quarterback. It's just job security for Joe Schoen. So he's going to hitch a star to somebody else and go with it from there. But I don't know. That's going to be the rest of the year, especially if Daniel Jones plays Sunday and they lose and that offense struggles the way it had, where they're not moving the ball and it's constantly 3 and out, and there are no shots, or he does throw a couple interceptions, or he does fumble. The crowd's going to be all over him. You know that. He's got even more pressure. Now, as if he didn't have pressure when he signed a $160 million deal and everybody in the media was killing him for getting that money, which is not elite money by any stretch of the imagination. It's a mid-tier contract, maybe an above-average tier contract. Guaranteed money is $82 million. That's like 13th. The only guys that make less than him guaranteed are like guys like Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo and the rookies. He's not making the money the elite quarterbacks make. I felt like that was a fair contract that he got. But a lot of pressure to perform when you're not in a rookie deal and you're getting $160 million. You got your second contract. Now people expect you to not be as good as you were last year. You need to be better. You need to take steps forward now. And he hasn't done that yet. But now, again, you've drawn attention to people could say the Giants scored 23 points, and that's fine. They scored 23 points over the last 2 games. Granted, they had some stupid things go against them. Missed field goal, fumbling at the 7-yard line. audibling to a run and the inability to block and get him in the end zone. Getting it to the 1 yard line again at the end of the game and not being able to punch in a touchdown. But the last 2 games, the Giants offense has been over 300 yards. The Giants offense is, the Giants have had more offense than their opponents. People notice a difference. Now Daniel Jones is going to have to live up to that pressure of, God, now if I screw up, now I'm really going to hear it, because we've seen Tyrod Taylor come in and be serviceable. So he's got a lot to deal with. And I just hope he can figure it out. I've said this on Twitter today, and I will continue to say this. I am not pro Daniel Jones. I am not anti Daniel Jones. I am not pro Tyrod Taylor. I am not anti Tyrod Taylor. I am not pro drafting a quarterback, and I'm not anti drafting a quarterback. I am pro Giants. That is it. I do not root for players. I root for the laundry, and that's it. The whoever the hell gives us the best opportunity to win, that's who I want in there. That's it. If it's Daniel Jones, it's Daniel Jones. If it's Tyrod, it's Tyrod. If it's somebody else, it's somebody else. I don't give a shit who's taking the snaps. I don't care. I don't care. I don't come on YouTube. I don't go on Twitter. I'm not here to push agendas or tell you need to think some way about a quarterback or a running back or whatever. People can fan however they want. I'm not the fan police. I don't tell you how to root for the team. You want a tank? Root for that. I'm not going to go, you're not a fan. You're not a fan because you want a tank. No. The only reason they want to lose is because they want change. Because they say, you know what, this year is a throwaway. I want to change for the future. I understand that. The guys that defend Daniel Jones, I understand that too. I made a whole video on how the Giants ruined him. I made a video on how they ruined him. So I understand that side of it too. But I would never tell anybody, oh, you doubt Daniel Jones, you're not a fan. No. You love Daniel Jones, you're blind. I'm not telling you you're not a fan. That's a big problem. That's a big problem on the internet, is people acting like they're the fan police. Like, I'll never understand what somebody thinks they have the right to tell another Giants fan how to show their fandom. I'll never understand that. Ain't nobody telling me what I can or can't do or how I can or can't root. That's not happening. Nobody tells me what to do in anything I do. My wife does. She's the boss. I mean, my wife tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. Okay, that's the way it goes. Any married guy in the chat understands how that goes. But I don't care how you root. I like I said, I'll play devil's advocate, both sides. I have no problem doing that. I saw a tweet today. Guy said, "Oh, Daniel Jones." He showed the stats from the second half of the Cardinal game, and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." He's like, "Oh, nobody's going to talk about this." I'm like, "Well, all we did was talk about that." But why are we only talking about 2 quarters when he played 20 quarters? What about the other 18 quarters of football where Daniel Jones has only put up 24 points? How do we omit that? That's a big sample size, don't you think? And again, that's not solely on Daniel Jones. But I find it amusing how people will shift the goalposts to fit their agenda. That's something I find on YouTube all the time. And it doesn't matter. They do it on social media. I don't push agendas. I own my bad takes. And I don't look for flowers when I get something right. I'm not like, hey, I was right about this. Give me a flower. I don't give a shit. I'm a fan. That's it. I say it all the time. I'm a professional idiot with a microphone and a camera. I'm just a fan. I'm just a guy. That's it. That's it. I don't break down film. I don't try to pretend I know what the blocking schemes are. I don't try to pretend to know what play was called in. I don't try to pretend, oh, I know that they're telling Tyrod to throw it deep and they're telling Daniel Jones not to. I don't pretend I know any of that because I don't know any of that. I know none of it. And I don't pretend to know any of it. All I do is talk about what I see. And that's it. Well, I got 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 big ass nose. And all I can tell you is when I watch a game on Sunday, I'm just giving you my perspective. And I always find it amusing how some people get so pissed off over a complete stranger's perspective on things. How someone's words hold that much power. I can't figure that out. But it always makes you feel good. It makes me feel good that somebody gets, so emotional over my takes. Because again, I'm an average nobody. So it's funny to me. A lot of it's funny to me. That's why I enjoy Twitter, honestly. I just think it's funny. I get a kick out of it. I really do. I think that's hilarious. Dashy, thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate you, Brilly. This week is personal to me. 35th year of Super Bowl 23 being between the Bengals and the 49ers. Nervous about this week. Yeah, well, I mean, the Niners are a good team. No question about that. They're struggling tonight. The field goal kicker finally made one. But, they're in a battle with Minnesota. They lost to Cleveland. So they lost to Cleveland's backup, mind you. And they didn't have the running back. They didn't have Chubb, and they didn't have Deshaun Watson. They still lost. The thing is, Cleveland's defense is really good. And the Niners' defense is good. Joe Burrow's going to have a big game for you guys to win. Joe Burrow, I think, is going to have to. He's going to have to be Joe Burrow. You know what I mean? He can't be the guy that's been out there this year, 223 yards, 1 touchdown or whatever, 2 touchdowns and interceptions. Joe Burrow got to be the guy that he was last year, 345, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns. Like he's got to carry. Joe Mixon is a nice back, but you're not going to rely on Joe Mixon to carry you against the 49ers. So Joe Burrow's going to have to play big. MetLife Stadium. Thank you for super chat. He says, I know we wouldn't start Tyrod over Jones, but I feel like he played better than Jones would have. Again, it's speculation. I saw Jordan Rand, over say, oh, there's no doubt Daniel Jones would have won the game. You can't say that. We don't know what Daniel Jones would have. What do you want? Probably. He owns Washington. We know that. He's Washington's daddy. We know this. The only loss he had is because they called offsides on Dexter Lawrence when he wasn't offsides, and they got a chance to re-kick the field goal to win the game. Daniel Jones really 6-0-1 against Washington, if we're being honest. But we don't know. We don't know what happens. Same thing with him against Buffalo. Like Daniel Jones would have never did that audible to the run. No, he probably wouldn't have. But do we know that Daniel Jones gets the ball to the 1-yard line in that situation, even have the opportunity to make that call? No, we don't. We don't. It's pure speculation. Maybe Daniel Jones in the offense scores 31 against Washington. Maybe they blow him the hell out. Maybe they don't. Maybe they score 3. Maybe Daniel Jones turns it over, throws an interception. Who the hell knows? We can't. There's no way anybody could possibly know what the hell he would have done. No, we don't know. So that's what I mean. Can't say that Tyrod would have played better than Jones. What we do know is Tyrod played well enough to win. He had a really good first half. Problem that the Giants had in that second half was they got away from the damn run again. They just started throwing the ball all over the field. Can't do that. And that happened because of that damn muffed punt. The coaching staff has to stop panicking every time something bad happens to the Giants. A lot of bad things happen. It's like as soon as something bad happens, don't give the ball to Barkley anymore. Just throw the ball all over the field. Not good with our offensive line. You don't want the quarterback back there dropping back 40 times. It's not the way you're going to win football games if you're the Giants. But yeah, listen, like I said, it's going to be a thing. And I will play devil's advocate because I see the point to each side. I see the argument to each side of this thing. And honestly, it gets tiring arguing for or against somebody. So just playing devil's advocate and just saying, hey, this isn't true. And then they get mad. You're just a Daniel Jones hater. Or I say, no, listen, tell the whole story about Daniel Jones. Can't sit there and say Daniel Jones hurts the players. So Jalen Hyatt had his best game with Tyrod Taylor. That's because Jalen Hyatt's out there 80% of the snaps before he was out there 40% of the snaps. You can't say that. And honestly, I think Hyatt until last week had his best week against the Cardinals anyway. Or saying, Kadarius Toney had his best game with Mike Glennon. Kadarius Toney had 4 catches for 80 yards with Daniel Jones there in a half against Dallas. And then he got all of his garbage yards at the end of it. I said, so tell the whole story. So that's the way I'm looking at things this year. And whatever the Giants decide to do, I'm cool with it. If Brian Daboll says, Jones, you're sitting, I think Tyrod gives us a better chance to win, I'm going to question him. He's the coach. Okay. If he says, Daniel, you ready to go? Get in there and do it. I'm rooting for Daniel. If he tells Tyrod, I'm rooting for Tyrod. If the Giants finish 3-14 and they go out and they say, we're drafting Drake May, I'm rooting for Drake May. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care who the running back is. I've been a Giants fan for over 40 years. I've seen a lot of players come and go through this team. But one thing that's always remained the same is my love for the team. I didn't go, oh, Lawrence Taylor retired. Well, I'm not a Giants fan anymore because he was my favorite player. It's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Players come and go. It's a business. It's a business. These players make hundreds of millions of dollars. Not millions, hundreds of millions. None of us have any idea what the hell kind of money that is. Can't even imagine what the hell $160 million is. Can't even fathom it. It's a business. Players aren't loyal to the team. They can make their bag somewhere else. They're going to make it. How can you blame them? That's just true in any facet of life. These guys make, like I said, the difference between $10 and $12 million, to us, it's like, oh my God, you're greedy. To them, it's a big deal. It's 20%. It's 20% any way you look at it. It's all relative. If you got a 20% raise at your job, pretty happy. I know I would be pretty happy if they gave me 20%. You know? So I get it. It's relative to their peers. But again, it's a business. So there's no loyalty. You can make your money, you make your money. Football careers are short. Go make your money. I'm never gonna get mad at anybody for making money. I'm not gonna get mad at anybody. I'm not gonna get mad at anybody for wanting money. Never. Big Moo. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate that. This quarterback controversy is total BS that the media feeds on. We're lucky to have one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. DJ will be back when he's cleared. I agree. DJ will be back when he's cleared. Yep, agree. And I also agree we got one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. But like I said, I understand. I understand people that want Tyrod. I get it. Daniel Jones has struggled. There's no way, whatever the reason is, you want to blame the coaching staff, you want to blame the injuries, you want to blame the line, it's all part of it. But like I said, he is not absolved or above any of the blame. You can't go, well, it's nothing to do with him. It's everybody but him. Can't do that. It's ridiculous. Just like it's ridiculous to go, that's all his fault. He's the one that sucks. If we had another quarterback, we'd be 5-2 or 6-1 right now. We don't know that. Don't know that at all. I got my Coca-Cola here. I'm happy. However, we want to pay some bills really quick. So big shout out to the sponsors as always. Because this Victory Street Monday is brought to you by Body Armor Sport Water, baby. Body Armor Sport Water, an alkaline water with a pH 9+. And a proprietary electrolyte formula with a wide mouth for easier hydration. Body Armor Sport Water is built for all-day hydration for the athlete and all of us. You go to the gym, take one of these with you. It'd be fantastic. It's great water. These are big. These are huge. These are huge, quite frankly. These are really big water bottles. Frankly, Body Armor, they hooked me up. They said, you know what, Trump Dog? They said, you gotta get the Body Armor. You got a good body. We gotta put some water in you. You gotta stay hydrated, frankly. You don't want to cramp up. Cramp it up is bad, frankly. You don't want to cramp up. You want to do it bigly and strong. You want a small water bottle. You want big water bottles, frankly, huge water bottles. But I'm waiting for the zero sugar. Supposedly zero sugar Body Armor is going to be out this winter. You know me. I'm a zero sugar kind of guy. So when the zero sugar Body Armor comes out, you can bet your ass we're buying a ton of that stuff because I love it. But get yourself some Body Armor Sport Water. You're in the gym, man. This is the best way to go. And I love these because I don't have to go to the damn water fountain after every set. Because I drink like a camel. Well, let's face it, I drink like a camel when I'm not in the gym. That's why I piss every freaking hour. But anyway, it is what it is. It is also brought to you by mybookie.ag. Obviously, the football game can't bet on tonight. But basketball starts tomorrow. And I'll be live for the Lakers at 7 o'clock. Opening night, Lakers and Nuggets. I hope you tune in for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Basketball starting, college basketball starting. You always got big football weekends. Big college football Saturday, NFL Sunday. You want to bet? You want to win some money? I suck at betting. I'm not good. I'm good at college. I'm not good at NFL. I can't win at the NFL. I'm good at college football. Not great. I'm not going to make a living on it, but, I'm okay. But if you guys want to bet and win some money, you go to mybookie.ag. When you when you deposit for the first time, you enter the promo code Baddog, BADDOG. It's all lowercase. It's all one word. They're going to give you up to $200 deposit bonus depending on how much you deposit. You can bet anything, anywhere, anytime at mybookie.ag. So a lot of things you can do there. Win some damn money. Get free money when you use the promo code Baddog. Why the hell not? What do you got to lose? You got nothing to lose, right? So, but yeah, big shout out to the sponsors for coming on board this year. Always really appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys and girls for supporting the channel the way you do, because without you guys and girls, I would not have these sponsors. So I've always said this. I will continue to say it. I'm very fortunate and grateful that I have all you guys and girls to support my channel, that come into live streams, watch videos, and everything. Listen to me rant, rave, and hang out. It means the world to me. I never thought my channel would be where it is. I couldn't have done it without you. And I just host this channel, but it belongs to each and every one of you. I have the best channel on YouTube. A lot of people claim that. I do. And so I really do appreciate it. You guys and girls are legends. Legends. Matt, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. Really. Hell yeah. Thanks so much. He says, DJ took us playoffs last year, but this franchise forgets things so quickly. Play calling this year has been shit. Excuse me. Put the man under center, running play action like he did at Arizona. Bingo. Great point, Matt. I hate the shotgun. I hate it. I understand on third, like on passing situations, I get it. I hate the shotgun on third down and short. Daniel Jones is Matt, you nailed it. Daniel Jones is such a better quarterback under center as opposed to being in a shotgun. The play calling has been suspect all season. This is why we don't know. Is Dable calling plays? Is Cobb calling plays? Is Dable calling plays in the second half? Dable denied it, but who the hell really knows? Dable denies everything. Dable never gives us a straight answer. He'd make a great politician. Quite frankly, make a great politician. I talked to Coach Dave. So, I went down the other day. I said, Dave, listen, it's Trump dog here. I said, you can level with me. You can let me know about Daniel Jones' neck. Like, what's really going on with his neck, frankly? He said, Daniel's got a neck thing. And that's all we really know. We don't know much about it. It's just a neck. He's got a neck problem. He doesn't tell me anything either. But you're right. The play calling is a lot too, there's a lot. I don't know what the hell is. His team's been weird from the beginning of the year. It just has. It's just it's just strange, man. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It just, the cohesiveness and chemistry that was there last year is not there this year. There's a lot more confusion that's going on this year. They seem out of place. They seem unsure. There's been confusion on the offensive line. There's been confusion in the defense. Maybe they're figuring it out the last couple of weeks. I don't know. Like, I can't put my finger on it. It's just not the same team. Like, I get that we played against really good competition and we're not up to that level, but we were not competitive in any of those games. That's the issue I have. It hasn't been that we've lost, and I hate losing. It's the way we've lost. It's that we're never in the game. I don't go for moral victories, but it would be nice if we lost to Dallas 27-24. It would have sucked, but it's better than losing 40-0. If we would have lost by a touchdown to Miami, at least it's competitive. Again, the Bills, it sucks losing. That was a bad loss. I feel like we should have won the game. We didn't, but we were with Buffalo. Now, Buffalo lost in New England, and now people are like, oh, Buffalo sucks. Buffalo goes through this every year. Buffalo has a stretch of games where they just play really bad for whatever reason. They played two of the worst teams in the league the last 2 weeks, and they really should be 0-2 against them. But Patriots were able to do it. The Giants didn't. And it came down to the same thing it did last week. It's just the Patriots were able to punch the ball into the end zone at the end of the game where we weren't. And again, obvious, blatant pass interference. You're not going to call that 2 plays in a row. And let's be frank, you should never let the officials decide a game anyway. It should never come down to 1 play. So, I don't know, but Matt, that's a great point about him not, being out of the shotgun more often than not. It's a great point. MetLife, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. He says, I agree. 1 bad play, and we're back to throwing 1-yard outs and no lead blockers. It makes no sense, dude. They panic. They get away from the run. They get away from the things that they were doing successfully. They crushed Washington in the first half of that game. I felt like we should have been up more than 14-0. I felt like we should have been up 24-0. We just ran them over. Like it wasn't even a game. The score was close, but it was not a game. Like the Giants dominated their ass. And then that muff punt, man. And here we go. Throw the ball. And the offense stalls. Because, well, Washington got a pretty damn good line, defensive line. Montez Sweat, freaking Chase Young. I mean, pretty damn good. Don't want to be one-dimensional with the state of our offensive line. And as soon as you do that, the offense sputtered. And then when we drove the ball down, it was a big pass play, but we started to run the ball. And sure enough, what happens? That was a horrible throw by Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy just fired it into no man's land and had it intercepted. And the guy's doing the worm. Very nice. The big move. The big super chat. He says, thank you, being my, well, hey.
Thank you for being a friend.
Thank you for being my friend, Big Moo. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much for the super chat. Much, much appreciated. Much, much appreciated. Matt says, DJ's got legs and arms, just missing everything from the neck up. This has always been my knock on Daniel Jones, was I just felt like in between the ears, he struggles. Last year, I thought they cured him of it. And this is why I was so high on him going into the year, because I'm like, well, the coaching staff figured it out. And he's got the same coaching staff, so he's just going to get better. He's going to get better. They figured it out. They got him. His pocket awareness went up last year. He didn't turn the ball over. He looked totally different. I don't give a shit about his statistics. That doesn't matter. I saw a guy lead the Giants to 5 game-winning touchdown drives. I saw a guy making confident throws, feeling the rush, getting out of there, hanging in there when he had to, making strong throws under duress. And I was sold. I said he figured it out. Because at 6'5", he's got a good arm. It's not a rocket arm, but it's better than Tua's. It's above average, in my opinion. He's got a good arm. He's got good accuracy. He's mobile. He's not athletic, but he's mobile. He's tall. He's strong. That's what you want physically. The problem with Daniel Jones is he processes slowly. And when you have an offensive line that can't hold a block and a quarterback that takes a little bit longer to read the defense and to go through progressions, that is a recipe for disaster, which is why he's getting sacked 11 times. Part of this is on the offensive line, no question, but part of it's on him because he's regressed to paying the ball, to being scared to throw it, and then just throwing late. That was something he did a lot under Joe Judge. He delivered the ball late. He didn't anticipate. He don't throw them open. In the NFL, you have very small windows of opportunity. For the most part, some guys are wide open. But a lot of times you got to throw that guy open. A lot of times you got to throw that ball in between a couple of defenders. He did it last year. He did it. People can say whatever they want about Minnesota's defense. I don't care. He still played the game of his life and won a playoff game on the road. People will try to the Jones. The people that just absolutely can't stand Daniel Jones will try to take that credit away from him. He played his ass off in that game. You got to give him credit. That's what I mean. I played devil's advocate. I'll give him credit where it's due. I'm going to criticize him where it's warranted. I've always done that. My take on Daniel Jones, in my opinion, has always been fair. Always. If he plays well, I don't go, well, he could have done this better. He could have done that better. He should have done. I don't do that. Say, hey, he played awesome. And at the same time, he plays bad. I don't go, well, if this happened and that happened, if there was a lunar eclipse on a Monday night in the middle of October and the, Mercury was in retrograde, well, this would have happened. I don't do that either. I don't move goalposts. Again, because I don't push agendas. I don't give a shit if I'm right or I'm wrong. I don't care. It does not matter to me. I'm not on here to brag about, oh, I told you. Who cares? At the end of the day, really, does it matter what I say? Oh, Baddog, that take was bad. Okay, it was a bad take. It aged like milk. I get it. Now what? Oh, now we move on. Oh, Baddog, you know what? You nailed that one. You were right about that. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. Now what? Now we move on. I don't get a trophy. I don't get some trophy or some reward for being right. And at the same time, I don't get a demerit for being wrong. So I don't worry about it. Talking Eco. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. Brilly. He says, I want DJ to have that fire in him. His future is in his hands. He'll only remain the Giants' future quarterback if he plays them out of a top draft spot. Facts. I just feel like Daniel Jones has. I talked to when we did the talk of Giants the other night with Chris. I talked about how I feel like Daniel Jones is scared to make a mistake again. And when you play scared and you play not to lose and you play not to turn it over, that's when bad shit happens. Just let it go. He just needs to be instinctual. I always go back to the first game against Tampa. Yeah, he turned it over a couple times. But he let him down to a victory, 2 for 300 yards. He had, 4 total touchdowns in that game, right? Ran for 2, threw for 2. He's just playing football. And I felt like last year there was a lot of him just playing football. And this year I feel like he's doing way too much thinking back there. And it's costing him. I know he can do this. He showed me he can do this. He showed me last year. Now, a lot of guys still don't believe that he can, and I understand that. I understand it. But he showed me he can do it. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for him to do it again. Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. People are like, oh, the situation has to be right for Daniel Jones. And it does. It does. That's why I said the Giants ruined him, because the Giants didn't put the right talent around him. They drafted him. They knew his weaknesses. Well, you have to help his weaknesses by getting the players that help his weaknesses. You can't give the kid a shitty offensive line and never fix it and never give him a number 1 wide receiver. How the hell is he supposed to succeed? Like I said, I can go either way with this because I understand both sides. Because it's also not like he's pressured every single time he drops back. He's had time to throw. He's missed receivers. Shit happens. Bob, my man, thank you for the super chat. You're the man, brother. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, sir. Great Monday. 2 live streams by the best YouTube guys in the biz. Appreciate that, Bob. Thank you, my friend. No more tank talk. Be a freaking Giants fan. Support the team. Let's go, G-Man. Like I said, Bob, I'm not going to sit here and root for them to lose. I can't. I don't have that in me. I'm not. It's not the way. Like I said, if we were 1-14 or if we're 2-14 going to the last game of the season, and if we lose, we get the first pick. I have no problem with losing. I have no problem with them going 2-15 instead of 3-14. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with them losing that game. But in the middle of October, I'm not rooting for the Giants to lose. It's not happening. Not me. But again, I will not tell somebody else how to root for the team. I don't have the right to do that. I am nobody. I am just a fan like everybody else. There's nothing special about me. I don't have that right to tell people what to do, what to think, what to say. I don't have that right. I don't want that right. I would never do that to anybody. People want to root for them to lose, the tank, to get a quarterback. Cool. People want them to have Daniel Jones behind center and they want to ride with Daniel Jones. Cool. People want Tyrod Taylor to ride out the rest of the year and bench Daniel Jones. Cool. I don't care. I just want to win football games. I don't care how it's done. I just want to win. I just want to win. I just want to win. Andrew, thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. Brilly.
Hell yeah.
A $10 boom shakalaka. We'll be doing some boom shakalakas tomorrow. I can't wait for the Lakers. Because it gets me off, it gets my mind off the Giants. Gets my mind off the Giants, which I could use. And my Giants 26, thank you for the super chat. My secondary face grade wide receiver. I love the way Deontay Banks played. Like I said, man. And again, if you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter. I have a lot of fun on Twitter because I don't have to make a video every time I have a thought. A lot of thoughts pop in my head throughout the day. I like to tweet them out, get the pulse of the Giants fan base. I love it. Good or bad. But I tweeted out, people want to kill Joe Shane for his draft picks. And you're not going to hit on every draft pick. But I look at some of the players, Deontay Banks, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jalen Hyatt, Micah McFadden. I don't know much about JMS yet. Who the hell? Wan'Dale Robinson. There's some good pieces here. I'm hopeful Evan Neal turns it around. But he drafted some good players. Like I said, how people want Joe Shane fired, that I don't get. The man had 3 months to prepare for the season for the Giants, won a playoff game with no talent. And they got off to a bad start against a tough schedule, a bunch of really tough teams. They got their bad start. They've been injured. It just has not worked out. Now people want him fired, saying his draft picks are busts. Can we at least let them develop? Can we at least give them a few seasons to see if they're a bust or not? Can we at least let them play out their rookie contract before we judge that? KN, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. Brilly, my friend. Maybe I should do this since it's October. Greatest horror movie ever made. This organization did too many wrong moves, not enough right. I agree with that. That's why we've been there for 10 years. Although he's tough as shit, but it's time to move on. The only way we'll truly know what he is. Well, listen, I can't argue. I personally think Daniel Jones was. I personally think that the Giants did everything they could to screw Daniel Jones up. I don't think they've done him any favors. Still, the offensive line still sucks. I like Jalen Hyatt. We still don't have a number one wide receiver. Jalen Hyatt's not a number one wide receiver. Paris Campbell's not a number one wide receiver. Wan'Dale Robinson's not a number one receiver. Isaiah Hodgins is not a number one receiver. Darius Slayton's not a number one receiver. They're serviceable to good, very good even. It's not a number one. It's not a Terry McLaurin. It's not a Justin Jefferson. It's not an A.J. Brown. It's not a C.D. Lamb. He doesn't have one of those guys. He's never had one of those guys. He's had a Saquon Barkley who's dealt with a ton of injuries. That's what they've given him. So I agree. If he moves on, I think he'll succeed somewhere else. I think he'll be a good quarterback in another organization. Don't think he's a good quarterback this one because this one doesn't give him enough to succeed with. So what? Yeah, he does need a little bit more. That doesn't mean he has very little here. You're like, oh, he needs everything to work out. No, how about you give him something good or just good? Give him an average offensive line. Give him a bottom tier number one receiver. And let's see what he does. But they haven't done that at all. So, like I said, I get both sides of it. But listen, guys, girls, I'm going to cut it short tonight because I am tired. I have a lot of stuff coming up this week, man. We got the Lakers tomorrow. We got Super Friends on Wednesday. Got the Lakers on Thursday. Got Talking Giants on Friday or Saturday. Got the game on Sunday. Got Lakers on Sunday because the Lakers are coming back. So there's going to be a lot of live streams. I just want to get some sleep tonight, get ready for the games. Really appreciate all you guys, girls, hanging out as always, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm glad we won. But we'll have a lot of these discussions, and I love discussing football with you guys, girls, because there's a lot to discuss. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and argue with anybody. I understand all sides of the argument. I get it. I just want to win football games. That's it. I just want to win. I don't care what it takes. I don't care who does it. I just want to win. So on that note, guys, girls, thank you so much for joining tonight. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully I see you tomorrow for the Lakers. We'll have some fun there. Take my mind off all this shit and just have a good time calling the game. Enjoy the rest of your Monday or Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's Baddog Dizzle, and I'm out. Peace.